Hi, I'm Barbara Darlington, MD and Brilliance Coach at Gen B, and today I'm sharing some insights into why your subconscious matters so much to your professional development. I'll shed some light on what your brain is up to when you're trying to learn stuff, why some things are easy, but why most things are so difficult. And with that better understanding, you'll get to see the top 6 outcomes you can look forward to achieving and exactly how you'll figure that out. So let's start by taking a quick snapshot at the thing that's doing all the work around here, the brain. So, according to neuroscientists, the conscious part of the brain is only about 5% of it, if that, so tiny percentage of it. And the non conscious part, or subconscious as we know it well, is 95% of it. And our brain is what makes us who we are. So 95% of who we are sits in our subconscious. And this is where our values, our beliefs, feelings, and emotions are stored, our instinct and our autopilot. And understanding how it works literally puts you in control of your life. Without insight into your subconscious, you'll keep blaming the wrong things and miss the chance to identify and heal the root causes stored in your subconscious mind. Because this is where our inner frictions lie, the difference between what you consciously think and how you subconsciously feel deep down. And now you can literally see it with your own eyes. And seeing is the first step to believing and making decisions based on your unique reality. So before I reveal the 6 benefit outcomes you can once and for all achieve, here's a sneaky peek at how you can see your subconscious mind. So, for those that follow me, you would have heard me talk about Openmind. This is the revolutionary neurotechnology psychometric tool that in just 15 minutes via a gamified assessment can generate your implicit subconscious responses to the very well-known Big 5 personality traits framework. So let's have a quick look at the Big 5 dimensions it measures. So firstly, openness to experience. This measures your receptiveness to new ideas, creativity, and your inclination to explore the unfamiliar. It's like a window into your curiosity and imagination. Conscientiousness reveals how instinctively organized, dependable, and goal orientated you are. It measures your diligence, precision, and ability. Extroversion gauges your sociability, assertiveness, and how outgoing you are, kind of shines a light really on your preference for social interactions and your enthusiasm in social settings. Agreeableness measures your cooperativeness, your compassion and friendliness, your tendency to be considerate, empathetic, and your inclination to promote harmony. And lastly, neurobalance. This indicates your emotional resilience and how well you handle stress. It gives insight into your disposition towards worry, anxiety, and emotional ups and downs. And let's take a look at what an Openmind assessment report actually looks like. So there are 3 different scenarios of varying degrees. You'll see a dark blue line and a light blue line. The dark blue line is the explicit response that the person would have given consciously to a statement. There's 25 statements in total. And the light blue line is what your brain felt and responded to implicitly about the statement. So, scenario 1 here is where you explicitly answered greater or more positively associated to the statement that was displayed than the implicit reading. So, the implicit was more negatively towards the negatively associated side. Scenario 2 is where the implicit is greater than the explicit reading. So deep down, your feelings are much more positively associated with that statement than your explicit conscious answering of your reading to that statement. So, for example, here they would have said, I somewhat disagree to a statement, whereas implicitly they somewhat agreed to it. And then scenario 3 is where your implicit and explicit are really close together. So it indicates good congruence, good self-awareness of how you feel and consciously think about a certain statement. This is where you are kind of there's no inner friction, there's no distance between those, no work to be done. You are totally aligned and authentic about that statement and that result. So let's quickly take a look at one example of each of the 5 different dimensions. So starting with the openness to experience, I chose the statement, I feel everyone's opinion has value. Now, as you can see here, the person has consciously answered, I strongly agree with this statement on a 7-point Likert scale. So they believe consciously that everyone's opinion has value to them. And yet, deep down in the subconscious, their implicit feeling on the matter is actually quite neutral. So when coaching through with this type of example, and of course it depends holistically on the other results that are that come from the overall assessment, but you might want to ask, well, things like how do they actually feel when they receive information of an opinion from somebody? Can they think of the last time that they received someone's opinion and how it made them feel? Now, consciously, we like to believe that everyone's entitled to their opinion. So, of course, that gives us a sort of conscious bias that that's something that we should be seen to be recognizing and positively associated with. But of course, not everyone's opinion will have personal value to us or our brains. So being able to see where we sit instinctively, and of course, if this will have an effect, if we're more negatively associated to other people's opinions, dependent on the role and what we want from ourselves, then that is up for question and potential development. Conscientiousness. So I chose the statement, I like to go above and beyond when achieving a task. Which conscientious person doesn't love to do that? So with this one, you can see that the person has decided consciously that they strongly agree with this affirmation. And also you can see just about that it is very aligned with the implicit feeling. It's almost like every cell in this person's being is going to want to go above and beyond when achieving a task, which is obviously a trait of someone who is highly conscientious. So when coaching this, we might want to think about boundaries and burnout and things like that. Whilst it's desirable to want to do our level best, we can, if recognizing that this is our default position and that everything about us wants to go above and beyond and is very likely to do so because our brains are so positively associated with that, we might need to be a bit careful and considerate of how we feel about that information, seeing it. Extroversion. So I chose the statement, I like to speak my mind. So this person agreed with that statement consciously with the dark blue explicit line there at the agree point. And deep down implicitly in the non-conscious, the subconscious, again, they were very strongly positively associated, more so even than they consciously believed. Now, of course, this would indicate that the person, 95% of this person, is absolutely going to like to speak their minds. They might even be quite opinionated or perceived as opinionated or very, very, very confident in being able to speak their mind and very assertive. Now, whilst that might be a desirable trait for some, it might not be for others. So again, it depends holistically on what the person that is taking this wants of themselves and whether they were very aware of that. I would like to think that to see that this person probably consciously knew that this was something that they were aware that they like to do, but consciously trying to hold that back a little bit, maybe because they don't want to be perceived as overly speaking their mind. Agreeableness. So I chose the statement, helping others makes me happy. And of course, a lot of people would tend to think or like to think that, of course, we like to help others. We're helpful. We want to be helpful. So when the person would see the information here on their implicit feeling on that, you can see there's quite some distance between what they agreed with, helping others makes me happy, and what they felt deep down was slightly to the negative associated side of the neutral position. So we might open questions along the lines of, does making people happy really make us happy? Does helping people really make us happy? Rather, I get my teeth in. And has there been times when we've been so helpful, particularly if we're a high conscientious too, where that didn't really land so well, or no one really cared, or something along those sorts of lines, to really understand where this person's brain is associating with that statement. And if, of course, they do have a desirability to help others and it should make them happy, that is what they believe and where they want to get back to, then we can uncover ways and methods that will help them reinstate their feeling in to that statement. As you can see, there's quite some distance, and that is representative of cognitive dissonance. The distance, the friction, and the distance to travel in order for you to deliver at that rate that you expect. So it doesn't mean that this person wouldn't be happy helping others, and it doesn't mean that they wouldn't want to help others. It just means that they have to put quite a bit of effort into it, probably because of some previous experiences where helping others may not have served them so well. Neurobalance. So I've chosen the I'm not bothered by how others see me. And that's because we live in a time of lots of digital social media, lots of perception, people looking at each other and making judgments. So particularly for younger people, I'm always interested when I'm working with them about where this lands for them. So in this situation, in this instance rather, you can see that this person consciously said, I agree. I'm not bothered by how others see me. So they really, really feel, but consciously believe that they're not that bothered by how others see them. However, their implicit response was very negatively associated with that statement, which means that they're very likely bothered deep down. So you'd want to open dialogue around cases where they might be feeling like that and where that might be coming from, and then consider ways and exercises that they can apply to help them feel more aligned with where they consciously believe that they want to be. But again, this distance, this cognitive dissonance, the friction between where they believe they should be and where they actually feel they are, and how they are 95% gonna show up and gonna behave because of their implicit reading here, is something to focus on. So there are 25 measurements that create the blueprint of your personality traits. And as you can see, if we only saw the explicit readings, if that was how we truly understood ourselves, or if you're watching this as a leader of people, what we believe about our people or what they think about themselves, then we're far, far away from getting the full picture of where our true strengths and current frictions and limitations truly are. So how about those top 6 outcomes that I promised you? You can look forward to finally getting to grips with this level of insight. So, outcome number 1, greater emotional stability and mastery. We can't manage what we can't measure, but now we can measure this. Now, our 95% default state can be measured via implicit response time neurotech. Outcome number 2, improved decision making. We've been trying to make decisions about our lives and development with 5% of the information. Now you can get 100% of the information, what you think and how you actually feel, and that will make you more informed. You can then choose career paths, relationships and things like that you genuinely will serve you well. Outcome number 3, we can finally break free from self-sabotaging patterns and those pesky limiting beliefs, of course, that we've at some point decided that we have. You can work out why they're there and what you want to decide to work on to move forward. Outcome 4, enhanced communication and relationships. Understanding your own triggers allows you to communicate your needs more effectively and take responsibility for your reactions, and also fosters empathy with others, creating stronger, healthier connections. Outcome 5, profound healing and growth. This has to be the ultimate benefit. By confronting and processing potentially repressed emotions, this leads you to a greater sense of wholeness, self-acceptance and inner peace. You're no longer fighting with any hidden enemies, and this is the outcome that I've seen time and time again with delivering Openmind. And finally, outcome number 6, unlocking creativity and potential. There are so many times when creativity comes out as a strong positive that people that just really didn't give it any time or forgot or repressed in some way. The subconscious mind is also a hub for our creativity, intuition, and inspiration. And by building a bridge to it, we can access deeper wisdom, innovative ideas, and more authentic expression of who you truly are. And here's the brilliant takeaway. Understanding your subconscious mind is not self-indulgent, it's strategic and essential personal maintenance for your professional development. It's the difference between being a passenger in your own life and being the pilot, fully self-aware, navigating towards your desired destination. It's the most rewarding journey you can take to realise authentic connection, path of least resistance, and your brilliant strengths, which in my experience are not something that you will be so aware of. And with that, I'd love the opportunity to make you aware and put you in the driving seat. So here's my goal for 2026. I'm looking to improve the lives of 100 people by delivering 100 open mind experiences to them. So if you or anyone you know needs to see this, then head to my website or message me directly. Head to my website, jen-b.co.uk, and look under programs for the Breakthrough to Brilliance program, where you can find out more. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this really insightful and interesting, and I wish you all the success. So go generate your brilliance into 2026.